In 2011, a team at Harvard took a group of people who had never meditated, ran them through an 8-week program, and scanned their brains before and after. In just 8 weeks, the gray matter in a region tied to memory and emotional control had measurably increased. No drug did that. No supplement did that. The thing that did it is free. You already own everything you need, and most people who try it quit inside the first week. They quit because they think they're failing. It is meditation, and the reason almost everyone fails at it is that they are trying to do the one thing it was never meant to do. Let me start with what actually changes, because this is the part that turns meditation from a vague wellness word into something physical. The Harvard study was led by Hölzel and Sarah Lazar. They took 16 adults new to meditation and put them through the standard 8-week mindfulness course. A separate group sat on a wait list and did nothing. Before and after, everyone got an MRI. The meditation group showed increased gray matter in the left hippocampus, the part of the brain central to memory and learning. The wider scan picked up changes in regions involved in self-awareness and perspective. The control group showed nothing. 8 weeks of a free practice left a visible mark on living brain tissue. A few years earlier, the same lab had found something about the long game. Lazar compared people with years of meditation experience to people with none. The meditators had a thicker cortex in the prefrontal area and the insula, regions that handle attention and body awareness. And here's the detail that matters. Your cortex normally thins as you get older. In the oldest meditators, the difference was the largest, which hints that the practice might offset some of that age-related thinning. I want to be careful here. That study was a snapshot in time, not proof that meditation reverses aging, but the direction is striking, and it lines up with everything that came after it. So what is actually being trained? This is where almost everyone gets it wrong. Ask the average person what meditation is, and they will tell you it is about clearing your mind, emptying it, sitting in silence with no thoughts. That belief is exactly why they fail. Because the moment a thought shows up, and it always does, they decide they are bad at it and stop. Here's what is really happening. Your brain has a network that switches on whenever your attention drifts, when you replay an argument, plan your week, or worry about Monday. Scientists call it the default mode network. In 2011, a Yale team led by Brewer scanned experienced meditators and found this network was quieter in them, especially its main hub, sitting deep behind the center of the brain. That's the wandering, self-referential chatter turned down. But you don't turn it down by forcing your mind blank. You turn it down through one simple move, repeated. You pick something to rest your attention on, usually your breath. Your mind wanders off. You notice it wandered. You bring it back. That noticing and returning is the entire exercise. Every single return is one repetition, like one curl in the gym. The wandering is not the failure. The return is the rep. A beginner who catches their mind 50 times in 10 minutes and returns it 50 times got a better workout than someone sitting in a blank daydream. Once that clicks, meditation stops being mysterious and starts being training. And that training doesn't stay locked in your head. As you get better at noticing your own reactions and stepping back from them, the part of the brain that fires the alarm starts to settle. In 2012, a team led by Gael Desportis scanned people after an 8-week course and found their amygdala, the brain's threat detector, reacted less to emotional images, even when they were measured outside of meditation, just lying in an ordinary scan. The calm was turning into a trait instead of a moment.
The body follows the brain. A 2017 review of 45 studies found meditation lowered cortisol, the main stress hormone, along with blood pressure, resting heart rate, and inflammation markers. And back in 2003, Richard Davidson and John Kabat-Zinn ran an 8-week program and gave everyone a flu shot at the end. The people who had meditated produced more antibodies than the people who had not. Free, about 10 minutes a day, no prescription. Now let me be straight with you, because this channel does not sell miracles. In 2014, a group published a large review in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. They pooled 47 clinical trials with more than 3,500 people. Their verdict was sober. Meditation showed moderate evidence for easing anxiety, depression, and pain. Not dramatic, moderate. And it was no better than other active treatments like exercise or medication for those same problems. So it is not magic. It is a free, low-risk practice with real but moderate effects on mood, sitting on a growing pile of evidence that it changes the physical brain. Still one of the best things you can do with 10 minutes. There is one more frontier worth mentioning. Carefully. Inside your cells, protective caps on your chromosomes shorten as you age. An enzyme called telomerase rebuilds them. In a 2011 study, people who completed a 3-month intensive meditation retreat had telomerase activity about a third higher than a matched control group. A later analysis pooling the trials pointed the same direction. This is early evidence from small studies, often from intensive retreats, rather than 10 minutes on your living room floor. I am not telling you meditation makes you younger, but the cellular machinery of aging is responding to it in a way serious researchers are watching. So here's how to actually do it, built straight from what the studies used. But first, one honest caution. For most people, meditation is about as risky as a quiet walk. It is not nothing, though. A 2021 study found that a small share of people, especially those with a history of trauma or certain mental health conditions, can have a hard time when buried feelings surface in the silence. If that's you, do this with a professional, not a free app at midnight. With that said, the protocol. Sit somewhere quiet. You don't need a cushion, a candle, or a folded leg position. A chair is completely fine. Set a timer for 10 minutes to start. Close your eyes and rest your attention on your breath, the air at your nostrils, or the belly rising and falling. That's your anchor. Now the only real instruction. The moment you notice your mind has wandered off into thinking, and it will, gently walk your attention back to the breath. No judgment, no frustration, just return. That's the whole thing. Notice and return. Notice and return. The research courses ran for 8 weeks. The official program prescribes 45 minutes a day, but what people actually did came closer to 25. The lesson there is that consistency beats duration. 10 minutes every single day for 8 weeks will do far more than one long sit on a Sunday. Start at 10, let it grow on its own. And remember the trap from the start of this video. You are not trying to stop thinking. If you sit down expecting a silent, empty mind, you will feel like a failure and quit by Thursday. The wandering mind is not your enemy. Catching it is the point. On the day your head feels like a washing machine and you drag your attention back 40 times, that was 40 reps, a good session. The people who stick with this are not the ones with naturally quiet minds. They're the ones who stopped expecting a quiet mind. If you want another free lever the supplement industry would rather you ignore, check out our video on the Italian town that smoked, ate lard, and still outlived everyone. The link is in the description. Reminder, this is research, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before changing anything. And if this gave you something useful, subscribe. We do one of these a few times a week, every claim sourced.